Guys, Marsinged here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to jump in and check out the newly fully EZA'd AGL Spirit Bomb absorbed Goku over here on one of his many 200% teams. This guy has, where's the list again? Is it 6? Oh god, it's more than that. Like 9 200% teams that he's on. I guess technically 8 right now because the AGL Carnival Goku from part 2 isn't out yet, but he's on both the Gamma's leader skill, the AGL Super Saiyans, both the 8th anniversary LRs, Bardock, Yamcha, and Physical God Goku. He's on all of their 200% leaders. So yeah, his super attack effects are very, very good. He greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn on both of his supers. And then the 12 key does colossal damage, the 18 key does mega colossal, as well as lowering attack and defense and sealing. So there are some events where those are still obviously viable abilities, and the fact that they're on his 18 key is really good. It means you never have any reason to go for anything other than his 18 key, because before his EZA, I'm pretty sure he only got defense on his 12 key. So as he started to age out, if you were going to use him in events, you kind of almost wanted to go for his 12 key super to get the defense, whereas now he's greatly raising for 1 turn on both of them. So of course if you get an additional, then you are raising it again. So attack and defense 159, randomly change key spheres of a certain type to rainbow, then you get 2 extra key per rainbow orb, so a rainbow orb gives you 3 key. You get an additional attack and defense 10% per key sphere obtained, so here's a nuking style unit, and for each Super Saiyan category ally in the same turn, self-excluded, you get an extra 7% per key sphere obtained. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you have 2 other Super Saiyans on rotation, that's another 14%, so that's 24% per orb, so that could get pretty ridiculous. And then chance of performing a crit 7% and reduced damage received by 7% by each rainbow key sphere obtained as well. So that does all stack up. Obviously I've given mine mostly additional because I would like him to get those double supers and get the extra stack if possible, and of course he is full level 10 Link. So we're running him on the GT Duo team. Basically what I want to try and do is get a rotation where we have the AGL Gohan in slot 1, him in slot 2, and then not only does he going to have a Super Saiyan ally on rotation with him basically at all times, but we are going to be able to then get a bunch of units floating into slot 3 who are able to give him a decent amount of buffs. So you can see here I could get 8 orbs with 2 rainbows, or I could get 7 orbs with 4 rainbows, which, considering he gets the damage production per orb, that's 28% damage reduction he gets if I grab these. We also have the support from Bulma. We have 5 out of 7 links active. That's pretty good. And what's he looking at here? So 278k. Obviously that is factoring in the Bulma support, but he greatly raises defense on super, so he's getting what? He's going to be around 400k after 1 super attack, but because of the orbs that I've picked up, he does have, like I say, 28% damage reduction as well, which is pretty decent. So let's go ahead and I don't want the GT Duo to build up too much because they're not really the stars of the show here, so we're trying not to get 24 key with them. I'm doing the Oceania stage of the new Shadow Dragon event. I'll probably try out a bunch of these different stages for these newer unit showcases rather than just using like the older red zones all the time. I have to be careful which ones to pick though because of the things like rotation locking and stuff like that. But 9.3 million for his first turn attack stat here. So considering that's with no Super Saiyan allies on the rotation as well. So remember, this is him at like his bare minimum performance, just with a little bit of support, right? The support from Bulma. But one of the units that we have floating on this team that's going to come into slot 3 and provide him with a ton of links is the other 8-year LR, the Buu Duo. They are a 7 out of 7 link partner with him. Now, unfortunately, neither of them are super strong, like slot 1 candidates, at least early on in events. So that is the only thing that kind of stops you from running them as like a rotation, right? Because like I say, they share all 7 links. It's just the problem is having them as a rotation. It's like, who do you put in slot 1, right? And in certain events, you could probably get away with it because, like, say you're doing a event like this where the boss is in the first phase, you can kind of get away with putting the Buu Duo in slot 1. And then once they start building up their defense, they are a bit more viable to run in slot 1. But then, of course, you know, even in some of the tougher events, like this event, for example, against Oceanus. Not particularly difficult. The first phase is int, but once we move into the second phase, which is AGL, if we put the Boo Duo in slot 1 and they eat a super attack, then they are potentially still going to take a decent amount of damage. And then you saw the defense of that Goku before he supered. He's not really viable for slot 1, even with the damage reduction, right? Because let's say on that previous turn in slot 1, he had, what, 278. If he was getting hit by a super attack that did 1,000,000 damage, we have 28% damage reduction, so that drops that down to about 700 and, what was it, like 720? And then take off his defense, and then, yeah, so he's still taking, like, almost 500k. So he's very clearly not a slot 1 unit, because, I mean, he greatly raises defense on super, and he's a nuking style unit, so a lot of the time it's going to come down to the RNG of the orbs. As long as you can get a good turn with a lot of orbs and a lot of rainbows thrown in as well, then obviously his performance is going to increase quite dramatically. So but anyway, let's see what we can get here. So Namek Goku is another unit that I've brought to float on the team here, because he is a Super Saiyan's category character, even though obviously he is not currently a Super Saiyan. But so we'll get the orbs for the support for Bulma, and then we can get 8 orbs with only 2. Oh, we can get 9 orbs with 2 rainbows. Okay, so less damage reduction this time, only 14%, but we did get an extra orb. Plus, we have a Super Saiyan ally on the rotation, so every one of those orbs gave us an extra 7% attack and defense, and we did pick up 9. So that's what, like 63% extra that we picked up. So now you can see we're at 341. So now imagine what he's looking like. We were at, what, 270 something? So if this was a double Super Saiyan rotation, he'd be over 400k. Although obviously he'd be missing the support from Bulma, but Bulma could have been on the previous turn because her support carries over. And so now after he gets his super attack, like, he's going to be well over 500k. And then on this rotation he has 14% damage reduction, which isn't crazy, but it is obviously pretty good. I'm a little bit worried. This is the Namek Goku's first turn, so hopefully he doesn't get super attacked in slot 3 here. Ideally Bulma gets supered on this turn, if anyone, but we'll see what Namek Goku's able to do. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Oceanus is, I paid her off. She's on the team. She super attacked exactly who I wanted her to super attack on this turn. So 10.4 for Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku here. Pretty good. Can we get the crit as well? Yeah, nice. We still didn't get the additional though, sadly. But yeah, he's tanking the normals for double digits, which, I mean, of course, that's what we would expect, right? An LR EZA coming out now post super attack that's not tanking normals for double digits would honestly would be quite disappointing, wouldn't it? Oh, 140. Okay. All right, well, that helps us to potentially get some. I don't want to use the standby here though, because I want to float. Man, the rotations have not really worked out the way I wanted them to, have they? Because I really wanted to get these guys floated off, but on this rotation it kind of seems like they're really the only viable slot 1 unit to go on this turn. So I guess I'm going to throw out the thing here. Because we're just showcasing Spirit Bomb Absorbed Goku, I probably won't even use the Spirit Bomb, so I'll just keep them in the standby form and waste the Spirit Bomb essentially, but it allows them to be a slot 1 tank for this rotation, and also they don't attack, so we don't kill the boss as quickly, so we get to see a couple more turns out of the Spirit Bomb Absorbed Goku. We're finally going to get the rotation that I wanted, which was Gohan in slot 1, because Gohan, of course, once you start getting his build up, especially because he has the guard, he can fulfill the role of a slot 1 unit for that Goku, so I feel like that definitely can work out quite well as a rotation. It would have been nice if we'd had it right from the start, but I figured we'd just go in as is and see what happens. This is just the first look, first impression showcase, right? I EZA'd him last night when the event came out on stream. Shout out to anyone who was there for that. And then, yeah, I had to finish getting some medals to awaken the SA5 copy that I had, but got into SA25 without having to use any Kais. And yeah, this is actually my first time using him since his EZA. I like to do these like first impression showcases pretty much like going in blind, right? Like obviously I know his details from JP. I've seen him used in a couple of videos from my friends on JP since his release, but this is my first proper like hands-on experience with him. So he definitely seems decent. I don't know if I would go as far as to say that he's like really good, right? Because I mean, nowadays, like even 500k defense with a little bit of damage reduction is good, but it's not like really good, right? It's not crazy. Big bosses like Metal Cooler Core super attack, he's dead, right? I think Broly, AGL Broly, he might just about be able to live. Although it's going to still be a lot of damage. And then, of course, that's not even to factor in, like, Sin, who's coming out in the last part of the anniversary. Now, the trade-off is, if an LR is, you know, still at the level where they're potentially going to die to a super attack, if they're dropping, like, you know, 15 plus million attack stats, then, you know, maybe we're talking. But we only got up to 10 million so far. This is a really awkward rotation as well, because I would really love to just get all of these orbs in the middle with Goku. I mean, I guess I could risk it, right? Like, what are we going to go up to here? Because we've got a Super Saiyan ally because of Gohan. We're getting 4 rainbow orbs again, so we are getting 28% damage reduction. So with Gohan, he shares 6 out of 7 links, which is pretty good. And now we're at, yeah, 352. So when I pick up the support with Bulma, he's almost going to go up to 400k. And then after supering, he's going to be, what, at or over 600? So the only problem is, as I said, like if he eats a super here in slot 1, that's not really ideal. But let's see what happens here. So we get the buff from Bulma. Okay, so how much is he going to take? 400k defense, 28% damage reduction, 254, and he got stunned, because of course he did. I mean, that's not terrible in terms of the damage, but again, like obviously Oceanus is definitely not the hardest hitting of all of these Shadow Dragons. So again, if we're talking like Metal Cooler Core, Broly, like we're just dead in that instance. And that is one of the downsides of nuking style units, because the way the orbs were laid out on that turn, I pretty much had no choice but to pick up like a huge majority of that cluster with whoever I put in slot 1. So if I put Gohan in slot 1, which is what I would have wanted to do, we would have used up most of the orbs on the rotation, and then it's just a complete RNG, like, are there going to even be enough orbs for Goku to actually be able to get, like, a decent amount of orbs for his attack? So it's tricky when it comes to nuking style units, because you don't want to lose out on all of those potential attacks, but at the same time, there's not really a huge amount you can do. So I think what I should do here is I could rage mode with Goku to stop her from doing any super attacks, which would then potentially save us from Goku getting killed, because that is obviously a potential. Or I could use the AGL. I guess we're probably not going to get around to another rotation, are we? Because if I float off the GT duo here in order to get extra attack power, they're just going to end up not coming back, because we don't get them back for 4 turns. So I think, yeah, what I'll do is let's go ahead and use the active skill for Goku. We're probably not going to do that much damage. Also, I did a misplay in terms of optimal play, because like I said, I don't care about using the Spirit Bomb for the Buu duo. If you're going to use a giant form or like a rage mode active skill, I could have picked up orbs with the Buu duo in slot 1 and then used this, because then when he comes out of this, the turns reset again, but those orbs count as going towards the charge for the Spirit Bomb, right? So I could have picked up a big chunk of orbs of them, then gone into this rage mode. Then when we come out of it, we're still at what is essentially like the start of a new turn, even though it technically is still turn 6, which means the Spirit Bomb just got extra orbs for free. So that's something to bear in mind if you're running units like Piccolo and you use the orange Piccolo transformation. You can, in fact, even, because the rage mode just takes over the whole turn anyway, you can put the unit that you're going to use the rage mode for in slot 3, pick up orbs with the first 2 characters, and then go into the rage mode. So you get 2 extra characters worth of orbs for the Spirit Bomb. So that is a way you can kind of cheese like getting a bunch of extra charges for it. Also, now this works out a lot better because we don't have to worry about Namek Goku eating a super attack. So let's do this. What items did I bring? I don't really want to use a Whis, so I'm trying not to take too many of the rainbow orbs as well, because I do want to get a decent amount with Goku on the next turn. So we'll go ahead and do this. So you can see the Spirit Bomb is already like overly fully charged. So we're going to be looking good if we were going to drop the Spirit Bomb here. This should do no damage. I mean, we didn't pick up a ton of orbs, but yeah. Double digit damage, and then hopefully the GT duo don't get too many crits here. They're up to 12 million, that's crazy. Yeah, too many crits means she's going to die off too quickly, but of course. And then we get the additional from the passive. It's always the cases with like when you get the bad good RNG, when you don't want an additional and you don't want a crit, and then you get them all. So not only did we get the additional super from the passive, but that was a crit as well. Because obviously the optimal builds for the 8th anniversary LRs is to give them a lot of crit. So, of course, we are getting crits. That's kind of what we wanted from the build, just not so much in this case, right? And then Goku don't crit. Of course. All right, so... Oh, perfect. Okay, well, we are going to get to see the... major attack boost turn for Goku anyway, so this is good. He actually does share a decent amount of links with these guys as well. Let me just double check how many it is. Where is he? Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. Where's the STR Vegeta? Oh, he's under the 6 links. So he does have experienced fighters. So on this rotation, Goku should have, yep, every single link active. Nice. All right, so let's do this for Gohan. Although, I just realized we're under 59% HP, aren't we? That means there is the possibility that Gohan gets clapped. I'm going to throw out the item just because all I really want to see on this turn is Goku's damage. And because we've lost the guard, if Gohan gets supered in slot 1, we would just die. So he's got 282k. You know what? It makes no difference. I'm just going to double weave. So we're going to win this turn anyway, right? So we've got all 7 links active. Now, again, unfortunately, because there's so many rainbow orbs, we can't actually get a lot of type orbs here. But we can get 4 rainbows, 7 orbs in total. And we still only have the 1 Super Saiyan ally. But that puts us to 287. Definitely not a crazy amount. We don't have the support, obviously, from Bulma or anything on this turn as well. But we do have the support from Vegeta. So defense-wise, our numbers are obviously not looking as great. But attack-wise, we're getting 80% support from this STR Vegeta. So we'll see how this plays out here. Obviously, it could have been better with more orbs. 12.7. I mean, that's pretty good. Now, his defense after this super, like I said before, is only going to be about 400k. We finally get a double super, so there we go, 8 million on the 12 key. So now he's easily over 500k defense and has 28% damage reduction, which is decent. It's definitely not the craziest in the world. And then, of course, there's the anniversary LR just matching his damage output here. And then, of course, they're going to die. Oh, wow. They only took... Oh, yeah, we got double Wii, so of course they're not going to die. But yeah, there you go. That was the AGL Spirit Bomb Goku. He's pretty decent. I guess we could end the video here by changing this entire field of orbs, grabbing all of these, and then let's drop the Spirit Bomb here for the big finale. Since, you know, Spirit Bomb absorbed Goku, it's all about the Spirit Bomb. 8th anniversary, all about the Spirit Bomb. So let me know what you guys think down below. I do think, as a first impression, he is decent. I would even go as far as to say that he's good. I just don't think he's, like, very good, right? I think he'll be interesting for certain events. Like, I mean, obviously the lower tier things, right? Like some of the easier Shadow Dragon stages, especially Naturon, who's STR in his 2nd phase. I know a lot of people did have some struggles with that one, so having another strong AGL unit is good. You know, things like Battlefield, stuff like that. You know, he's decent. It's just the fact that with no, like, permanent stacking or anything, you're relying on being able to pick up a lot of orbs in one turn in order for him to be really strong. And if you get a turn where just through RNG or you misclick or just something like that, right, and he can only pick up like 4 orbs, then there's the potential that he's going to take a lot of damage in that turn, especially from the tougher bosses. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section for the LR Spirit Bomb absorbed Goku. Like I say, pretty decent. I know the big LR EZA that everyone's waiting for is, of course, the 5-year LRs in part 3, but this guy definitely seems solid. At least he's usable again, so let me know your thoughts down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.